All right, let's get right into it. Today we're looking at a pretty powerful idea. How do we build a society that's not just educated on paper, but is actually thoughtful? We're going to explore a framework that pushes us to move beyond just collecting certificates and toward building real, solid character. And this quote right here just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It feels like we're drowning in information. We've got degrees and data coming out of our ears, and we love to talk about our values. But when it comes time to act, where's the courage? Where's the clear thinking? That's the huge paradox we're digging into. So that leads us to this kind of an uncomfortable question, but one we have to ask. If our education system is so great, why do we see smart, highly educated people falling for complete nonsense? You see experts in one field falling for pseudoscience in another. You see entire institutions making decisions that just don't add up. Something's missing. And here's where we start to see the problem. Our schools have gotten really, really good at scaling literacy, teaching us to read, write, and most importantly, repeat information back. But thinking, that's a whole different ballgame. Thinking is about questioning, checking sources, and connecting ideas to real-world responsibility. We've basically outsourced that part. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, we can look to this incredible framework inspired by the Indian educator Dr. Narasimhaiah. It's all built on 3 core pillars designed to create not just good students, but genuinely thinking citizens. And here they are. You can think of it like a triangle: moral courage, intellectual clarity, and scientific temper. Now, the most important thing to get here is that this isn't just a random list of nice words. They are a system. They depend on each other. You take one away, and the whole structure just falls apart. So let's break them down. First up, moral courage. This isn't about being loud or aggressive. It's about having a spine. It's that internal strength that lets you stand up and say, hang on, this isn't right, even when everyone else is going along with it, and even when it makes your life harder. It's what makes your values mean something. And this quote just says it all. Real progress, real change, almost never comes from the comfortable majority. It comes from those few individuals who were willing to be the awkward one in the room, the one who rocked the boat because it needed rocking. Okay, pillar number 2, intellectual clarity. If courage is the engine, clarity is the steering wheel. It's what stops courage from becoming blind fanaticism. It's that rare ability to think straight when things get heated. And, this is huge, to judge an idea based on its merits, not on whether you like the person saying it. I love this because it's such a vital correction to a modern cliché. We're always told to have an open mind, but that's been twisted to mean you should just accept any idea that comes along. That's not an open mind, that's an empty one. A truly open mind is disciplined. It weighs evidence. It's curious, but it's also critical. And the third pillar, the one that anchors the whole thing, is scientific temper. And no, this is not just for scientists. It's a mindset for every single one of us. It's the habit of asking, okay, but what's the evidence for that? It's what keeps our good intentions from floating away into fantasy. It grounds us in what is real and what actually works. In our age of misinformation, this is so powerful. It's basically saying that being rational isn't a cold, heartless thing to do. It's a moral duty. When you act on beliefs that have no evidence, you can cause real harm to yourself and others. In that sense, demanding evidence isn't cynical. It's a form of care. See, remember I said the triangle collapses if one piece is missing? Well, this shows you exactly how. If you have courage but no clarity, you get fanaticism, all passion, no reason. If you have clarity but no courage, you get passivity. You know exactly what's wrong, but you're too afraid to do anything about it. And if you have science without ethics, without courage and clarity, you get exploitation and abuse. These aren't just theories. You can see these examples in the news every single day. So how in the world do we start building this kind of character in people? Well, the most obvious place to start is by completely reimagining our education system. We need to shift its entire goal from producing obedient workers to developing thoughtful, responsible citizens. And this slide lays out the playbook perfectly. We have to stop just rewarding kids for memorizing facts. Instead, we need to teach them how to think. We need to stop punishing kids for questioning authority and start normalizing doubt and inquiry. And crucially, we have to constantly link knowledge to responsibility. What you know is tied to how you should act. And of course, this isn't just about school. The same logic applies everywhere. For governments, it means making policy based on evidence, not just ideology. In the corporate world, it means choosing real integrity over a flashy PR campaign. And in the nonprofit sector, it means focusing on empowering people, not just handing out aid that creates dependency. Now, it's easy to sit back and say, yeah, the system should change. But it's not that simple, because a system is just people. So this is where the focus turns back on us. The cure really has to begin with each of us taking personal responsibility. Just let that sink in for a second. The biggest problems in our society aren't caused by some evil villain in a secret lair. They're the end result of millions of tiny, everyday decisions. The little lie we let slide, the rumor we forwarded without checking, the uncomfortable question we decided not to ask. It all adds up. So let's make this personal. 3 quick questions for you to think about. First, on moral courage. Where in your life have you chosen to be comfortable instead of standing up for the truth? Maybe at work, maybe with your friends or family. Second, on scientific temper. What's one thing you believe really strongly that if you're being honest, you don't have a lot of hard evidence for? We all have these. The bigger question is, would you be willing to change your mind if new evidence came along? And finally, on intellectual clarity. Think about how you use information. Are you truly educating yourself, wrestling with new ideas, connecting the dots? Or are you just consuming, passively scrolling through content that just confirms what you already think? There's a huge difference. And that's really the bottom line, isn't it? The framework we've talked about, courage, clarity, and scientific temper, it makes sense. It's logical. It's valid. That's not really up for debate anymore. The real question, the one this whole explainer leaves us with, is a lot more personal. Are we willing to do the hard work of actually living this way?